Spot on ice. It took 3.5 hours for a two-man cruise to fix the hydraulics to Data's quarters. Instead of pacing the floor in front of his quarters, which was his first impulse, he went to engineering. The filter had reversed the coolant flow to 273 degrees Kelvin, the melting point of ice. The coolant unit had 73% of its coolant back. Data was staring at the pipe, holding the filter. "It isn't going anywhere," Geordie reassured him. "I was not thinking that." He turned to Geordie. "I was thinking how I cannot wait to find out who manufactured that. Another piece of the puzzle." "Yes." Data's communicator beeped. "Yes, sir. We will try the doors when you get here." "Let us go check it out." Data and Geordie arrived at his quarters. There was a man kneeling at each tube. "Ready when you are," each man called back into the tube. "Ready." The door hissed. Nothing more. "Nothing." Data shook his head. Again they called back into the tube. Nothing. The men in the tubes made some adjustments. Again the doors hissed. "Nothing," they called. 10 minutes. Data heard from inside the tube. "Two?" Geordie asked. The man shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, sir." Data began to pace. "I haven't heard our little lady in a while. Are you attempting to make me feel better?" "I guess that didn't help?" "Not really." Geordie sat in the floor across from the doors. Data continued to pace. "Data, please stop." "Why?" "You are making me nervous." "How is this action making you nervous?" "It is difficult to explain, but you are." He joined Geordie on the floor. "How long has it been?" 8.4 minutes. Geordie's communicator beeped. "Yes." "Sir, the containment unit is at 100%. "Thank you." Cabin temperature 291 degrees Kelvin. "There's your little lady." Data tried to smile. "I need to be in engineering retrieving that filter." He patted his foot against the floor, leaning his head against the wall behind him, and let out a sigh. "How does it feel to be nervous?" Geordie asked. "I do not enjoy it." The door hissed, sliding open. Data stared in amazement. "It's open," Geordie marveled. "It's still cold." "I thought the temperature returned." "It did." Data got up. Geordie followed. They slowly walked into the room. The door shut. "Are you sure the temperature went back?" Spot rolled across Data's shoes. "Spot!" Data bent over, picking him up. He was in a clear ball. "How did you get in there?" "What is that?" "I have no idea." He set Spot in a chair. The ball disappeared. Spot jumped out of the chair, rubbing against his legs, purring. "I am happy to see you too." He bent over, picking Spot up. Data kept a collar around him, but he had two. He took the second one off. It read, "Protecting this man's best friend." He gave Geordie a bewildered look. "What does that mean?" "There is an earth saying that dog is man's best friend. I guess you don't have a dog. It's referring to Spot being your best friend." There was silence between the two while Data petted Spot. "What is that?" Geordie's eyes were transfixed on the gelatin mass on Data's bed. It was light blue. It reminded Geordie of an iceberg. When the body is subject to cold temperatures, it absorbs the cold. When placed back in normal conditions, the body radiates the cold until it returns to a normal temperature. Have you ever sat next to someone who has been submerged in cold water and felt the coldness coming from them? Are you telling me that is a body? Geordie walked closer to the bed. What? How? He just froze. Tortured beyond anything we will ever experience. It seems like the torture is not to end. Who is it? The lady in my dreams. Data held his hand out over her but never touched her. 2 weeks of healing has been redirected. The lady in your dreams? The lady in the painting? Yes. Geordie didn't know what to say to console his friend. They stood there in silence. This has been a chapter from a story that I wrote, Lost Past. It is a piece of fan fiction based on Star Trek The Next Generation's characters. Paramount Global owns the Star Trek franchise. My story is free to read on my blog, chicosmom.com. I have all of the chapters listed on a page called Lost Past, a Star Trek story. Lost Past is a story about Data. It takes place from when he is activated on Omicron Thera to just before Star Trek Nemesis comes out. It is a story about him meeting a lady and what happens to this lady. You just discovered from the chapter that you listened to that she was tortured. You get to meet her. You get to find out why she was tortured, what happened between her and Data, that she was no longer in his life, and what happens after they meet again for essentially the first time. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you again for listening. My blog is chicosmom.com. Thank you.